talk about AstraZeneca and Oxford University's COVID-19 vaccine candidate and the big announcement that came out last week. I'm Dr. Jeff Kingsley, and welcome to another edition of Riding in Cars with Researchers. The announcement that came out last week is important to discuss because it has not yet been published, it has not yet been peer-reviewed, and the way the announcement was made was misleading, or the way the media is discussing it is misleading. So the analysis was on tens of thousands of patients who had participated in this vaccine trial. When they analyzed the entire data set, once patients had gotten the 2-dose regimen and were already several months out from receiving those doses, and a certain number of patients who were in the trial actually contracted COVID-19. At that point, they were able to look at that data and say, okay, of the patients who got COVID-19, who got our vaccine and who didn't? And if in fact we look at that data and we say, wow, 100 patients out of tens of thousands, 100 patients contracted COVID-19, and let's pretend all of those 100 patients did not get the vaccine, then the vaccine's efficacy would be deemed 100%, meaning 0 patients who got the vaccine got COVID, and all of the patients who did get COVID were in the arm that didn't get the vaccine. That would be 100% efficacy. So what they published was that of their entire data set, 60-some% efficacy for their vaccine. But they announced that there was a small segment of the population that showed a 90% efficacy. Now, that analysis isn't justifiable. There were only 3,000 patients in that subsegment, and the number of COVID-19 cases in that subsegment weren't large enough to really rely on that analysis. And so you really can't trust that sub-analysis that talks about a 90% efficacy. You can rely on the analysis more that says a little more than a 60% efficacy. It's still over the bar that we had created going into this. COVID-19 is scary. The bar for the vaccine candidates was set at 50%, meaning if you have a greater than a 50% efficacy, the FDA would consider approving your vaccine. And so 60-some% is still above that bar, but the 90% that they're talking about in this subsegment can't be trusted. More analysis would be needed. So I want to make sure that you understand that. As always, thanks for riding along. Be safe, wear your mask, take care.